Hi, it must be Monday because I'm Pat Sheranian and I'm in the studio broadcasting. Thank you so much for joining us today on radio and internet. We are always happy to have you, have you with us. I have a wonderful guest on today, and I can't tell you how timely he is. His name is Jacob Strack. Mm-hmm. Okay, Jacob Strack, S-T-R-A-C-K.
Yep,
did I get that?
You got
okay,
it.
And he is the owner of Swamptech. Swamptech. See,
Yep.
I had to mess up something. Swamptech. And we're going to talk to him today for a whole hour because this guy, I called up and I said, I'm dying. The heat is 95 in my house. My swamp cooler that I've had for 25 years, you know, it gave up the ghost. There was no way to repair it. He sent some guys right out, looked at it, and then quicker than you can say wink, they had replaced that thing. And I'm going to tell you, when they took it off the roof and I saw what it was up there, that scared me to death. I'm just grateful it didn't fall through the roof and kill somebody. There was not a part or a piece that was in a whole piece by the time they took it down. They sort of dropped it on my front lawn, but it was all rust. It was horrible. So if you've had a swamp cooler up more than, 10 years?
No, they usually last about 20 to 25.
Okay, well, I was pushing it to 30. And everything on it stopped working. It was really time to get a new swamp cooler. But where do you start? And so you go to the Yellow Pages and you call your friends who have swamp coolers on their roof. And we're here in Provo. And I find a little ad like this, just a tiny little ad. And in the Yellow Pages, and I thought, well, there's got to be another one. No, there wasn't. The rest of them were air conditioning and swamp cooler or cooler, it would say. And I looked and I thought, this tiny little ad. He is the busiest guy in this part of the United States, I am sure, this time of the year. And that we got you on the radio with us is nothing short of a miracle. So with that, let's talk about how you got into this business, because when he walked through the door, this good-looking young pup, I was expecting to see someone like his dad, because he's very efficient on the phone. He's very wonderful about calling back. Well, sometimes young people today don't get the customer service thing.
Yeah.
And they don't.
It's true.
So I'm assuming that you're an older person because you called back every time I called, not somebody in the office, not a secretary, receptionist, or a tech. You personally call me back. And I thought, well, this is really good, but I know you can't do that for everybody. So I told him I was old and dying, so he had to come. So I did a little twist in the arm there. But you were very, very good about letting me know what we could do and what we couldn't and so forth. And it was great to have that kind of customer service. And I didn't get a recording talking back to me, not once. I think I got a live, real person. I know you have a voicemail.
Maybe when you first called. Because you have to go through our prompt.
You have to go through a little prompt. That's true. Got a little bit of a voicemail, but I thought, is this real? So now I'm assuming he's a very small little kind of mom and pop shop. Well, he's a huge entity up in North County.
Yeah, up in Salt Lake.
In Salt Lake, and then all the way up into Logan. You said you service up in that area, and you come all the way down here into Utah County. How much further can they talk you into going?
It depends on how much they're willing to pay me.
That works. All right, now, you move into the picture a little bit because you backed up a little bit. So come towards me a little bit there. We don't want to lose you.
You just want me closer.
It's true. I do. I'm a cougar at heart. Okay, let's talk about how you got in this business, because there's a really nice story here, and then you have this nice message. So rather than me reading all this, look at the camera and let's tell the folks your story.
Well, my stepfather wanted to buy into a company where he could have his kids work there. And what ended up happening was I became his office manager, and I was running it for him. And he's one of those type of guys.
You must have been 17.
No. I was 21 at the time.
That's still terribly young to take over a company. Okay.
But he's the type of guy that, and he bought the company, and it was a decent company when we started. There was probably a little bit, you could do a little bit more advertising, and in some instances, some better customer service. I mean, I wouldn't say that the people beforehand were bad. They just, they were technical people. Okay. And so they didn't really have
marketing is part of the game. Exactly. It has to be part of the game.
So he bought this company. He was their CPA.
Okay.
And he bought the company. I basically ran it for him. And he's one of the type of guys that has to have his finger on the pulse all the time. And the problem is that he would become extremely stressed because he's doing CPA work, and then he's trying to find out exactly everything that's going on with the company. And
it's called
he got really
micromanagement, mini management.
Yeah. And so one day he was extremely stressed, and I just looked at him and I said, "What do you want out of this?" And he goes, "Well, I just want what I put into it." So basically what he bought it for. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a deal to me.
So you bought it?
Yeah, so I actually took a second mortgage out on my house and bought it. And luckily we were at the top of the bubble before it burst, and I was able to get enough money to buy this company. And yeah, I'm paying a high interest rate on my second, but it was worth it.
It was worth it, I'm sure, because I don't know anyone that's competing with you. I'm sure there must be somebody.
Yeah.
But you go right to it. Swamptech says what it is, and then you've got your ads in a lot of places. You do good advertising.
Yeah, we try.
And then you've got some good tech guys. Several different ones came out for different reasons and trying to get this thing hooked up. But they did it very quickly and very efficiently, and so I was excited about that. So how old were you when you bought the company?
I always forget about the age I was when I did that. I believe it was about 5 or 6 years ago, so I must have been 25.
Well, this is a true entrepreneur. Now, an entrepreneur is somebody that takes everything, including his house and his family and everybody else, and then says, okay, I'm going to do this, and just trust me that it'll work.
Right? When you say it that way, it sounds absolutely nutty, but I guess you do have to be nutty to be an entrepreneur.
Well, you have to be really, entrepreneurs are very edgy, they're willing to risk, and they have a lot of confidence in themselves that they can create that which they say they want and which they will do. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs in Utah.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Utah's really good for entrepreneurs.
Well, one of the reasons why, if you want a job, create it.
Yeah. And
by the time you created what it is that you would like to do, you think, well, maybe I can do this myself. So that's when you go to the bank, and then you go to all your relatives and your in-laws and everybody else, and you say, I'm going to do this. And then because you have to start somewhere. And I would have to believe you are just nuts, crazy busy.
Yeah, I've nicknamed myself Ice Cream because everybody wants me when it's hot.
All right, Ice Cream. You got me on that one. Okay, now you've got some frequently asked questions, and I want to go through some of them because I was raised in the Carolinas, and too humid back there. Swamp coolers would never work, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Southern California, when I was always within walking distance of the beach. And when we did move in, and then when we did move, well, there's a breeze.
Yeah.
And we lived in Westwood near the LA Temple, Beverly Hills, right on the border there. And in the afternoon, you could look at your watch and say, it must be 3 o'clock because here comes the ocean breeze. Mm-hmm. And we have a nice breeze that comes in, keeps it right around 70 degrees all summer.
Well, and that's probably a good example of evaporation.
Yes. That's true.
Because that's what it's doing.
Well, it was nice. Now, they're a lot hotter than that this week. But people don't have a lot of them don't have air conditioners or swamp coolers or anything near the ocean. So I didn't know what a swamp cooler was. So when I moved up to Utah, I'm going, swamp cooler. That means we cool the swamp with the alligators and the snakes. I had no idea what it meant.
Well, it gets that name from the concept that when wind blows, it evaporates. And so when you have those winds moving across the swamp, you know, they're kind of cold winds coming off of them. It's because of that. That's basically the same process.
You just reminded me of something. When the kids were little and we were living there in the Westwood, Beverly Hills area, I bought a thing about this big. Mm-hmm. With vents on 3 sides and a place to put water in. And it was a little portable. They didn't call it a swamp cooler. They call it just a little water cooler.
Oh, okay.
And so we had to keep water in it about every hour. It only held about a quart.
Yeah.
And then we kept, but it kept the air cool.
Same thing.
Not cold, but cool. So same kind of deal. Mm-hmm. All right. So you started out as sort of an office manager, tech, then took over. Mm-hmm. And so you've learned this whole thing from the ground up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I know way too much about swamp coolers than I ever wanted to know.
All right. I'm gonna ask these questions, but first, what's the worst situation you've ever seen? Now the guys probably went back and said that's the worst swamp cooler we've ever seen.
I don't know. There's been a lot of them. You mean situation with the swamp cooler or with the customer?
No, we're not talking about customers. Customers are wonderful no matter what.
Yeah, that's
We're not
true.
always right, but argue with us about it,
Well, I think, I don't know, there's been a lot of really bad ones where you have somebody that's just been working on their cooler by themselves and not really knowing what they're doing. But
held together with gum and tape.
Tar usually.
Tar?
A lot of tar out there, which is a bad idea. And we'll probably get into that later.
Okay.
It's probably one of the questions on there. But the worst one we've seen, actually, as a matter of fact, was probably my neighbor's house.
Really?
Yeah. He just moved in this year. It was this year that we did the cooler. And the previous neighbor hadn't been running the cooler he was there for 4 years.
And never turned it on?
Well, because it had a rust hole and it needed to replace it. Okay. And birds decided to make it their home. So it had a bunch of birds in there. Yeah, it had a bunch of birds in there. Wasps, because wasps love building their nests inside swamp coolers.
Oh my word!
Yeah, we fight with wasps all the time. We're experts at pulling our hat off and killing wasps.
Squirrels trying to get in somehow and holes.
Really? No, not many squirrels or rodents, but birds and wasps.
Lots of birds. That's interesting. Okay, so now you've got the swamp cooler with a hole in it, and it's a mess. Mm-hmm. Did he just say, take it away?
Yeah, well, he's a mechanic, so they were over starting my house, and one of our outlets wasn't working in the van. And I said, hey, can you take a quick look at this? And he got it fixed real fast for me, and I said, hey, in return, we're going to start your cooler. We climb up there, and it's like, nope, not starting this. This thing needs to be replaced. So, we gave him a quote and got the cooler done, and yeah, it wasn't.
Let's talk about the cost of some of these coolers, because I know there's quite a wide range. Yeah. But I don't know what the difference is. Okay. And whether it's the size of the motor or what. So let's just say that it's a 12, 14 square foot home, 1,000 square foot home, or maybe 10,000.
Well, 10,000 square feet you would need multiple coolers for.
Okay.
For your average, which would be that 1,000 to 1,200, you just need a 4,800, which is, 4,500, 4,800, which is what you have at your house. You've actually got 3 different that we quote. There's a 4th one that we don't even quote. Which is we'll get into it.
On the lower end or the higher end?
No, on the higher end. Okay. It's right between our middle one and our last one. But if you're going to go with that one, you might as well step up to the highest one, and that's why we removed it. We just decided not to carry it anymore. Okay. Because we did so little of it. But you have your Aspen cooler, which is, when you think of a swamp cooler, that's what it is. It's 4-sided. It uses the Aspen pads or the synthetic pads. And then you've got your single inlet cooler, which is really the new trend. Because the way the rebates are set up... I don't know
what you just said. Single inlet. Single inlet. What does that mean?
So basically,
compared to a double inlet,
you've got 4 sides that are pulling in air. Okay. This one only pulls in from one side. Oh. And it's the newest trend because the way the rebates are set up, it's actually less expensive if you have Rocky Mountain Power to go with the single inlet after rebate. We don't have that down here. I know. Okay. Provo, Bountiful. I always got to remember Murray, because when they call from there, I can't tell them about the rebates, or otherwise they go with the bigger cooler, the nicer cooler, not bigger. But so basically the difference is instead of pulling in from 4 sides, it pulls in from one side through an 8-inch thick pad. The benefits to that style of cooling is you get a better discharge temperature. Instead of having to replace the pads every year, you replace them every 5 to 7 years.
Oh, that's a good deal.
And then the third, which I think is the most important benefit, is that it comes with this polyurmic inner lining. It's this hard plastic inner lining that
wait, and that lines the pan where the water is? That lines
the water section, because this one's actually set up in 2 different sections. I think you have a brochure here that I can kind of show.
Maybe we can go to your website. Give us your website.
Oh, it's www.swamptech.com.
Got that, Kent? Okay.
But it's got a dry... Oh, yeah, I forget we're on radio and the...
Yeah, so we have to describe it to radio as well as...
So you've got your blower section and you've got a wet section. Okay. The wet section is lined with a polyurmic inner lining.
Well, I would think that would cut down on rust.
Yeah.
Mildew.
I wouldn't say it cuts down on rust, because there's been arguments both ways that water gets in between the polyurmic inner lining and the metal, and it rusts out. You're going to get rust
no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with water and metal. You're going to get rust. But if that ever breaks on you, you replace it. Versus an Aspen cooler, the pan rusts out and the cooler's gone.
Oh, okay.
And then the third step up is actually very similar to the single. It's if you looked at it, it's the same unit. You don't really see a difference. The real difference, though, is in the wiring, because it's got a programmable thermostat that it comes with. So it.
So you put that in the house?
Yeah, and well, you can put a digital thermostat on any system.
Oh, okay. Because I already had a thermostat in the house, and it's great.
And most have that switch.
Right.
That has high, low, cool.
Yeah, I have that. But I could turn it on, and it'll hold it right at 70 or 69 or whatever.
Will it turn itself off, though?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Then you have a thermostat. You're lucky.
Okay, because that's what was there, and your guys hooked the swamp cooler up to that. And so when it's gotten cold enough, it'll just automatically turn off.
Yeah, most coolers out there only have a 2-speed switch, so you have to manually turn it off.
Ooh, well, I did something right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go take a break, and we're going to be back in just a minute. We'll try and get your website up and get some pictures off your website.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
By focusing solely on the evaporative cooling industry, Swamptech has quickly become the experts. We bring our clients the latest technologies and offer only the highest quality parts. Swamptech has been servicing coolers since 1997 and has over 3,000 current clients. Why would you trust anyone else with your cooling needs? Call 801-471-0491. Swamptech's services include seasonal startup and shutdown, installation of a new evaporative cooling system, repair or replacement of your existing swamp cooler, and flex duct run for whole house distribution. Call us at 801-471-0491 or go to swamptech.net. SWAMPTECH.net. Summer's heat has arrived. Don't spend another sleepless night because you're too hot. Call today for an appointment. 801-471-0491.
Hi, I'm Roger Strong. I'm here to tell you about tidbits of Utah County. No death, divorce, devastation, or destruction, just good news for good people. You'll find us everywhere in Utah Valley, in doctors' offices, restaurants, mechanic shops, anywhere that people wait. We have over 35 features of fun, family-friendly entertainment. To find a paper or to advertise, call Roger at 801-616-6288. Again, that's Roger at 801-616-6288, or Tidbits of Utah County, the happy paper for Happy Valley.
Are you looking to create another revenue stream in 2012? Are you willing to put out the effort to generate some cash flow? Pat Sheranian is seeking 10 motivated individuals to join her Kyani team as independent distributors. Earn as much as you are willing to work for selling Kyani Sunrise, Sunset, Nitro FX, and Nitro Extreme. These great products are helping thousands of people enjoy better health and an improved financial situation. The most successful Kyani independent distributors started by trying the Kyani products, just as you can, virtually risk-free, as Kyani offers a 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee. Try them and don't like them, and you'll get your money back, less the shipping costs. So many people today are challenged by obesity and diabetes, or don't have enough money for their needs, and they aren't doing anything about it. Don't be one of them. Call Pat Sheranian at 801-362-9552 to find out more about Kyani and what it can do for your health and for your wealth. That's 801-362-9552.
Hi, this is Pat Sheranian. We're back, and my guest today is Jake Strack.
Yep, you got it right.
And he is the owner of Swamptech.
Much better than last time.
Much better. Did that much smoother, didn't I? And we want to, right off the top, want to give you a phone number so you can reach him, because if you have a need, these folks come out. They don't charge you an arm and a leg to tell you what's wrong or if it can be fixed or can't. They're not pushy about trying to replace what you've got, but they're very honest about if it can be repaired at the point that your swamp cooler is at. So let me give you the phone number. So grab a pen and paper, and the number is 801-471-0491. 471-0491. I just realized that we do have people in Utah that are watching us online on the internet. So why don't you give me your main number, which covers the North County also?
It's 801
801
747
747
1150.
1150. Okay, the North County and Salt Lake, because your office is in Salt Lake, right?
We're in Murray, yeah.
In Murray. Okay, so 801-747-1150. That's an easier number.
It is much easier.
I don't know why it's an easier number, but it is. 747-1150. That will take you to a voicemail, and then it'll prompt you. And the prompt is for appointment.
Yeah,
right.
Well, and you can actually, if you're just calling to check price, right. It has an automated pricing system on there.
That was the other one. Okay, it has an automated thing. But I like talking because I wasn't sure what I wanted.
Yeah, and I'm always fine with people doing that too.
Most of us don't know what
we just get so busy that we want to try to answer as many questions as possible.
I think you called me back one night at 10 o'clock and left a message and you hadn't been home yet. And that was a Saturday night or something, so I know you're kind of working around. What is Sunday? Your rest day, which is, of course, work for most.
Not all the time. At the beginning of the season, it was pretty intense.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably one of the busiest seasons I've ever seen.
That's great, though.
Yeah,
if you can live through it.
Yeah, it's just.
So you've got texts though that you send out.
Yeah, I never actually get out of the office. I'm always stuck in there. I never can move.
Well, that's good because you're the guy that's controlling it all.
Yep.
So, of course, it'd be nice if you could get home every 7 days.
I think my wife would like that a little bit better.
Probably. Come fall, she needs a vacation. I'm sure of that, and you do too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we brought some things up on the internet, on the laptop. So let's take a look at some of these. Can't we have, what is that, the single?
This is the single inlet cooler, and it, like I said, the Trophy and the Pro, which are the middle and the highest grade you can get, are about the same.
Okay.
They look the same. The only difference is the pads and the wiring.
Okay.
So your Trophy cooler, which typically looks like this, and for everybody at home, it looks almost like an AC unit sitting on your roof. It's not really your typical swamp cooler.
Yeah, it looks different.
It's got actually two separate sections. One we call your wet section, one we call your blower section.
Okay.
When you get into it and actually open it, you realize that it's essentially the same thing.
Same thing.
The blower is all the same as it is on the Aspen cooler.
I need to mention this also because it was, as I said, many years ago, new to me when I moved to Utah. But I found out that running a swamp cooler is about like leaving a light bulb on.
Yeah, it's very
very
low.
Inexpensive compared to an air conditioner.
Oh, yeah.
Which, without realizing what you've done, I stayed with some friends down in Arizona. They had an empty house. They just moved, and so my younger son and I moved into their empty house, and they had an air conditioner.
Yep.
Yeah, Arizona in the summertime. Well, I just let the thing run. I think the bill was $1,400 or something.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to have a stroke.
I actually just had a neighbor over at my house the other day that we were trying. He has a swamp cooler that just needed to be repaired, and he recently put on AC, and we've repaired his swamp cooler now. Now he's using a swamp cooler, but his energy bill was, he said $130. I went to my wife, and I'm like, what is ours? And she's like, $30 a month.
That's it.
And so we don't really notice a difference between summer and winter with our energy costs.
So
it's very little.
You keep yours going. I mean, you're not about to replace it with an air conditioner.
Oh no, definitely not. I'll never get an air conditioner.
The only time that I can think that you would need an air conditioner really is if your house is very large. The larger your home is, you still would say no. Just get more swamp coolers.
Yep. Well, with air conditioners, you need to get multiple air conditioners to cool a large house as well.
That's true. So you're saving money all around the place.
And you know what you're spending on a large house to cool that place?
I know, a fortune.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could put in a swimming pool at the end of the year. What one would spend with an air conditioner. All right, so you had said to me there are many, many kinds. So talk to me about, you're telling me about different models, but are you using all one model?
This is all the coolers we use are by PMI, Phoenix Manufacturing.
Okay, and they're out of?
They're out of Phoenix.
Okay, and so you bring those in. You know what you're working with. You've been working with them for years. So tell me about your service techs.
Okay, well, we've got some really loyal, dedicated guys. I don't know how we do it being a seasonal company, keeping our guys every year. They struggle to find work in the winter and then turn around and come back to us every single summer.
Well, I noticed that two different sets of guys came out, but there's an older tech usually and a younger
No, not really. You just got lucky.
Oh, okay. Well, they seem to be training the younger ones.
Yeah. We had it set up to where, and it's changed now, but we had it set up to where there was a tech and an assistant tech, and now we've actually. We slowed down a bit, so we had to lay off some people, which is typical for us. Okay. And then we upgraded everybody to tech, so now you'll just get random
techs, but they're all trained.
Yeah, all very well trained.
Tell me what the training is.
Well, we go through about a week in classroom training. This year we had to rush it a little bit just because it was so intense. Like, we got hit April 15th, which is not normal.
No, it was hot. It got hot early.
When it hit early, we actually have that phone system that you call into. We track how many calls come into it. In that 3-day span, we had 2,000 phone calls into our system, and there were 2 of us in the office.
Oh my!
That's why we were calling you at 10 o'clock at night.
No wonder you sounded a little stressed.
A little.
My goodness, 2,000 calls. That's crazy.
But we have a lot of technicians that have been with us for. I'm trying to think. Like, Ben's been with us for 5 or 6 years. Sam's been with the company as long as I have. He's my little brother. We've got Jared, who's been on and off with our company since I have been. Sam's
guys, we're giving you high fives here if you're listening. You shouldn't be listening. You ought to be on a roof somewhere. But we're in the archives, so catch it later tonight.
Well, Sam's the only one, I would say the only technician out there that can match me in knowledge of swamp coolers. But there's little things that he doesn't even know. But then again, you turn around and service-wise, it would take me an hour to do what he can do in 15 minutes because he knows how to do it when he's out there.
Well, my first question was, how do you get this thing off the roof and how do you get it up? Well, off the roof was easy. That was really interesting. It's called toss.
Yeah, well...
Make sure you don't hit the sidewalk, the flowers, just toss.
Well, sometimes you hit the sidewalk. You can do that. You just got to do it the right way.
They managed to get away from everything, and I thought, that's great, that works.
When we have to throw onto concrete, we'll actually take the pads, and we'll make a landing area and just crush the pads.
And my roof is not very high, which they were very grateful for that. But seeing them take the new one up the ladder, that was interesting, and I watched from inside. I thought, I don't want to be near that. So it's a little tricky to get everything up there all in one piece.
Yeah, we have one guy that will blow your mind. He actually takes
Puts it on his back.
He takes a little piece of rope, straps it around, and backpacks it up. And that guy's a bear. I don't know how anybody does that.
Don't want to meet him in a dark alley.
Yeah, he's the sweetest guy in the world, though.
All right, now I'm going to ask some of these questions.
Okay.
Did we cover anything? Kent, I don't know if you got this up because it didn't come up on the monitor. Okay.
Okay, well, if you wanted to look at the coolers, you would just go to swamptech.com and do descriptions of product.
SWAMP.com, that's easy. And let me give out the phone number again. There are 2 of them, so get your pen and your paper. If you're driving a car, just use your computer, swamp.com.
Swamptech.com.
Swamptech.com. I'll get this right.
Or just look up swamp cooler repair on Google and you'll get it.
And there you go.
We're like the first page.
I don't think there's anybody else in Utah doing the kind of business you're doing with this. So, okay, now the phone numbers for Utah County, if you live down here, 801-471-0491, 471-0491. The office is actually located in Murray, and this will also cover the North County area up in Ogden, 801-747-1150, 747-1150. You may not get Jake every time you call because, as you can tell, these guys are crazy busy. Okay, I'm going to ask a couple of these questions.
Okay.
All right, can a swamp cooler be used anywhere?
Not yet.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, anywhere where it's humid. It's designed for dry climates, so desert climates.
So why doesn't it work? Because the air's too heavy? It's too much moisture in the air?
You can only add a certain amount of humidity to air. You can't add any more. It's not possible. So if you're at high humidity, you can't add any more, which makes it so you don't actually cool. You're not actually cooling because you need to add humidity to the system. So when we get those heavy days where the humidity is high, then I'm going to stay at about the same temperature that's outside. Yeah, but that's pretty rare here in Utah that you get. We do. Last year we cool off in the evening. Yeah, but last year, I'll admit it, we got really high humidity, but it's because we had a lot of rain in June, and it was even snowing, and it was snowing in May. Yeah, it snowed late. And so we had a lot of water, and we had record snowfalls up in all the resorts. So Last year was humid, and I know that even at my house, which my system is probably the best you'll ever see, it wasn't uncomfortable, but I wasn't like where I like to be. Does that make sense?
65 on a hot day?
No, I like to be around 70.
Most of us are about 70. Now, a couple of questions that I didn't know. For instance, when do I have to replace my pads? And you've already told us about thermostats. Some will automatically turn off and some won't. If you're going to redo everything, then make sure you've got a thermostat that will turn itself off.
Well, we can even add those during service.
You can?
It's not. They're not complicated.
So if you've got one that doesn't do it, they can replace it. Let's see. What is a brand new? What brand of cooler? We talked about that.
We didn't talk about why though.
Oh, all right. Why do you? Oh, all right. Why do you?
So we
use
carry
PMI?
Phoenix Manufacturing, and really, there's 3 companies out there that make swamp coolers still, and I'm sure there's other little names, and I should say 4, but one's kind of not really a player. They will be eventually because of what they were and what they'll become. But PMI, what I found is that they have the best craftsmanship.
Interesting.
There's another company out there called Essick, which makes a cooler that looks very similar to the Trophy Series cooler that PMI makes. And the reason I decided craftsmanship was why that's the best word to use was because I got a blower wheel, and a blower wheel is the big blower on your cooler.
Okay.
I got one from Essick and I got one from PMI, which is very uncommon because you rarely replace those. Usually if the blower wheel's gone, your cooler is gone.
It's gone.
It's just not worth it. So I was looking at the one from Essick, and it was it looked like 3 pieces with this nice little sheet of metal bent to hold all 3 pieces together. It was kind of cheaply put together. The one from PMI was nicely welded, and it looked like one solid piece. And I went, you know what? That's a place where a customer is probably rarely ever going to see.
Right.
And so, you know, it's a place where you can skimp.
Unit. Yeah.
It's a place where you can skimp and get away with it.
Right.
And so to me, I went, okay, well, obviously PMI cares about their craftsmanship. And not to mention, 6 years ago, they dumped $100 million into the finish of their cooler.
Oh, wow.
And they also did this shaft smoothing technique, but I don't think that really does anything. No. I think that was a waste of money. But
what does that mean?
Well, you have your shaft that runs through the bearings, and it's attached to your pulley, and it basically spins your fan. And if you I guess the concept was if you smooth it out, it's going to run quieter, your bearings are going to last longer. Problem is that I don't think it really did that. I don't think it really changed anything. So, but that might just be my opinion. Maybe they have some research somewhere that proves otherwise.
But that's what we're counting on.
Yeah.
And so we trust you to do the right thing for us.
I would say that doesn't really matter, but they do have better craftsmanship. And it shows, I mean, the fact that they're willing to spend so much money to smooth out their shaft shows that they care about their product. They're not just trying to get a product out there and move it to market.
This is the PMI, the ones that you use.
And Essick, which makes Mastercool, which there's a long story behind that, but which makes Mastercool and what you find at Home Depot and Lowe's, that's Essick coolers.
Okay.
I mean, just to give you an idea of what kind of company they are, there was the biggest players about 6 or 7 years ago was Adobe Air. Adobe Air was, number one. They made the best of everything.
Okay.
And that's what we used to install, actually. And their hedge fund management went under. So they went under with it. And when that happened, Essick came through and bought the name. Not the manufacturing rights.
But they brought the name.
So what you're buying today that is a Mastercool is actually an old Ultracool. And so they just took the name and slapped a sticker on their Ultracool, and now they're like, oh, well, we're Mastercool. So all those good reviews and good ratings you see for Mastercools are us. But that's not the case.
That's not the case. That's good to know because there are things we don't know, and I appreciate your sharing that with us. I want to ask something about size of motors.
Okay.
And we're going to do that after commercial break, and we'll be right back.
By focusing solely on the evaporative cooling industry, Swamptech has quickly become the experts. We bring our clients the latest technologies and offer only the highest quality parts. Swamptech has been servicing coolers since 1997 and has over 3,000 current clients. Why would you trust anyone else with your cooling needs? Call 801-471-0491. Swamptech's services include seasonal startup and shutdown, installation of a new evaporative cooling system, repair or replacement of your existing swamp cooler, and flex duct run for whole house distribution. Call us at 801-471-0491 or go to swamptech.net, SWAMPTECH.net. Summer's heat has arrived. Don't spend another sleepless night because you're too hot. Call today for an appointment, 801-471-0491.
Hi, I'm Roger Strong. I'm here to tell you about tidbits of Utah County. No death, divorce, devastation, or destruction. Just good news for good people. You'll find us everywhere in Utah Valley. In doctors' offices, restaurants, mechanic shops, anywhere that people wait. We have over 35 features of fun, family-friendly entertainment. To find a paper or to advertise, call Roger at 801-616-6288. Again, that's Roger at 801-616-6288. We're Tidbits of Utah County, the happy paper for Happy Valley.
Are you looking to create another revenue stream in 2012? Are you willing to put out the effort, generate some cash flow? Pat Sheranian is seeking 10 motivated individuals to join her Kyani team as independent distributors. Earn as much as you are willing to work for selling Kyani Sunrise, Sunset, Nitro FX, and Nitro Extreme. These great products are helping thousands of people enjoy better health and an improved financial situation. The most successful Kyani independent distributors started by trying the Kyani products, just as you can, virtually risk-free, as Kyani offers a 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee. Try them and don't like them, and you'll get your money back, less the shipping costs. So many people today are challenged by obesity and diabetes, or don't have enough money for their needs, and they aren't doing anything about it. Don't be one of them. Call Pat Sheranian at 801-362-9552 to find out more about Kyani and what it can do for your health and for your wealth. That's 801-362-9552.
Hi, this is Pat Sheranian. We're back. My guest today is Jake Strack, and he is the owner of Swamptech, and you can find that at swamptech.com. Yes, Swamptech.
I was going to say, you did much better this time. You're becoming a pro at this.
After this many years, you'd think I could, or should. And I wanted to find that online. It's swamptech.com. And then the phone number for the Salt Lake office is 801-747-1150. Mm-hmm. And for Utah County, it's 801-471-0491, 471-0491. This is the busiest young man in town, and thank goodness we have him, because if you're looking through the yellow pages, you're going to find a lot of things about air conditioning, which will cost you your firstborn child and your car, and to get it fixed, looked at, or installed. And for those of us that have swamp coolers and are happy about it, the cost to run those things about day and night and day is about the cost of a light bulb. And so it's much easier to install. I love it. I think it's great. I'm happy that I found you. Totally. But I do want to ask a couple more questions that are online on your website. How do I know I have enough windows and doors open? And that was a concern for me, because I asked you that question because I'd always said, people had said, well, don't open it your windows more than about 2 inches because you'll let the heat in.
Which even people from Utah have that issue.
Well, right. And so then I thought, well, if I don't want air downstairs because I'm spending the evening upstairs, why would I open a door downstairs or a window? And so I say this to Jake, and he's, he was very polite to me, and he very politely explained what he's going to explain to you.
I think this is probably what I do most of the day, explain how to ventilate and use a swamp cooler.
Let's do it, because I think we all need to have a better understanding of why.
Yeah, what we found is that in our years and years of working on swamp coolers, and I mean we do probably 2,000 startups a year. So I mean we do a lot of swamp coolers and see a lot of people.
2,000 a year?
Startups. That's not replacements.
You go out and check it and get it going.
Yeah, get it going for the season.
Okay.
But what we found is people aren't ventilating properly. That's the number one issue we have out there.
Okay.
A lot of people think, and they've been told their whole life, even I was when I was a kid, you crack a window, and that's all you do.
And crack means
just a little crack,
little inch, 2 inches.
But the problem with the swamp cooler is it's not like an air conditioner. An air conditioner recirculates your air, so you want to seal up. You want to seal up as tightly as possible.
Everything, okay, for air, because it's going to circulate and recycle.
And it starts making it cooler and cooler as it recirculates. A swamp cooler is blasting air into your house at an extreme rate.
True, okay.
So what happens when you don't have enough opening is pressure builds up inside your house. You get a positive pressure inside there. And what that does is it builds up that positive pressure, and then your air starts recirculating inside your house. And so it's just hot air, and it can't add any more cool air.
That's what happens here in the broadcast studio. We have a lot of hot air. It is hot in here.
Yeah,
okay, and so what we need to do then is open more windows, more doors, open them wider. What?
Yeah, for your average size home, you should have about 9 square feet of open exhaust. So imagine in your head what 9 square feet of open exhaust is. Well, now you refer to it as exhaust, and that's
open
windows and doors.
That's more tempting to open it more, because now you've made a statement that I want to get this out.
Exactly, and that's what you want to do. If you here's a good rule of thumb. If you can walk up to your window and you can put your hand against it and you can feel the breeze going out, you don't have enough ventilation.
Really?
Put a piece of paper on that screen, it'll stick. You don't have enough ventilation. You need more.
And this is the opposite from what we all think.
Yeah, exactly, and
so
that's what the problem is.
Pulling my sheer curtain to I think, okay, there's plenty of air going through there.
Yeah, you need more ventilation.
If I think of it as exhaust, now it makes more sense.
Yeah, because basically what you're doing is you're blowing cold air in, and you're blasting out hot air. You don't need to recycle the air inside your house. You don't need to keep that air. You need it to keep moving.
To get it out.
Yeah.
So then if I want to get the upstairs, downstairs, lower basement, I've got to open windows. How?
Well, this is where it becomes kind of tricky.
Okay.
And we do have solutions to these problems, which are better than you doing it manually, and we'll go over that. But what you want to do is you actually want to shut windows up. If you want it downstairs, you shut windows upstairs and you open windows downstairs, and that will direct the air. Because what happens is
wait a minute. So if I want more air in my bedroom to be cool, I don't open that window. If I open the ones in the living room downstairs.
No.
Oh.
If you want air in your bedroom, you open the window in your bedroom.
Oh, all right.
Where you open windows is where the air is going to go. It's just like water, electricity.
So
it finds a path of least resistance.
If I'm not using a room, then I can close those windows.
Yeah, and close the door.
Okay.
That's the other thing. For a bedroom, you have to open a door to a hallway, because how else is air going to get in there?
That's true. So you can't shut your door and get air through.
We have a solution. We have a solution to that too.
All right. So you need to then open up windows on all 4 corners of the house, or something like that.
Well, let me explain what we call the dollar bill test, because that gives you the perfect ventilation. It gives you an idea of what you're going to need to ventilate your house properly, and even people at home can follow this, because I tell it over the phone all the time.
All the day long. Okay.
What you want to do is you shut everything up. Turn your cooler on to high cool.
Okay.
And you don't have to do this all the time. Do it when it's humid, and do it to give yourself an idea of how much ventilation you need.
Okay.
Okay. So you open up a window in a corner of the house about a foot. Take a dollar bill, you put it on the screen, and it'll stick. And if you don't have a dollar bill, use a receipt. Open it a foot.
Okay.
Trust me, it sounds crazy.
I know. Okay.
One of my technicians, even before he explains this to people, he's like, I know this sounds crazy. I didn't believe my boss for years until I remember this conversation. I said to him, just try it.
Okay.
Just try it and see what happens.
All right.
And so you open it about a foot, you put a dollar bill on there, it'll stick to the screen. And then go around to the corners of your house and open those windows about a foot. You'll go back to that dollar bill and it'll still be sticking, because you have positive pressure inside your house. Now you want to go open windows and doors in areas where you spend time. During the day, living room, kitchen. At night, your bedrooms. Okay. Or if you've already got a window open in your bedroom, just open it wider. But when that dollar bill drops, that's your perfect ventilation. And
really?
Yeah. And the other thing you got to make sure you pay attention to, though, is you don't want to open windows and doors near the actual vent, where the air comes in, because air, just like water and electricity, path of least resistance will go right out there.
Okay.
But with that said, if you really don't want to go through this major headache of a process of making sure you have your bedroom doors open, you have your windows open,
I don't like leaving windows open on the main floor, on the street floor at night, because I live alone.
Yeah, so there's a problem there. But what we do, and if you go to my house, it's a completely different setup, and this is how mine's set up. We're all invited to his house, so we can see how it works. I don't know if my wife would like that. Andrea?
Andrea, here we come.
Sorry, baby.
Fix dinner, we'll be there.
But so what we do is we actually, and there's rebates available for what's called a whole house distribution through Rocky Mountain Power. We take a vent.
Rocky Mountain Power, that's not for
Yeah, sorry, Provo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Murray. Well, most Utah County has Rocky Mountain.
It does?
Yeah, it's Provo that doesn't.
Provo doesn't.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I
apologize.
Sorry. So, all right, you lucky ones elsewhere. This is what you can do. You get a rebate.
Yeah, well, you can get a rebate for this. It's called a whole house distribution system, where you run, instead of having your main chute just come down inside your house, you run flexible duct to every occupied room upstairs, above ground level.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say upstairs, above ground level.
Okay.
Where you would need cool air, because basements don't need it. Then that one has a whole house distribution, like that's what you call the whole house distribution. It has the rebate. What I like to do is I like to cut the duct off and cap it, or cut it off and run it into the flexible system completely. Because at my house, I've only got the flex. You can barely hear my swamp cooler. Like just the other day when.
Wait a minute, you're talking about run it through the air,
through the attic,
the vents.
In vents. Instead of just this giant drum that comes down.
The heating vents?
No, you can't run it through your heating system.
You're putting new vents in.
Your attic.
You don't have them, you put, okay, now, you put the new vents in where
and
they are
a lot of people
needed.
ask that, why can't we run it into our furnace?
But it makes sense. No, I didn't think it through. Obviously,
No. A lot of people think it, and I even thought it for a bit. I'm like, wait, why can't we? But the problem is that a heating system is not designed to handle the load of a cooling.
I figured that out. I got that. Yes, I'm ahead of you one. Okay, so, all right, and so then you would come in and you put the vents in the attic where it's needed, where they're needed, and then it comes through those vents throughout the house, acting more like an air conditioner.
Oh, there we go. Acting like an air conditioner, yeah.
Yeah? Only better.
Yeah, because
it doesn't cost you $1,400
we're not just talking about cost, and we'll get there. I mean, you're talking to Jake about swamp coolers. You can talk forever. So anyway, we add the whole house distribution, which makes it quiet. If you get rid of your drum, obviously. It makes it quiet, and it delivers air to every room, which means, I can close my bedroom door at night, which is nice.
And not have to have everybody have all their doors open at night.
Yeah, everybody can close their doors. At my house, that's the way it's set up. And then
I like that.
And then if you don't want to deal with that ventilation problem, making sure you have all your windows and doors open.
I mean, to get up in the attic and make all this happen?
No, I mean, it depends on your attic. Some people's attics, I'm not doing it. Sorry, you're
impossible.
You're SOL on that one.
Okay.
But then what you do, if you don't want to open windows and doors, is you add pressure relief dampers. So you have your exhaust, and then you have your supply in every room. And what that does is when pressure builds up in the room, these backdraft dampers open up, exhaust into the attic, and then out through the attic vents. Yeah.
And then
out through the attic vents, which now I don't have to open windows and doors, and I'm cooling my attic, which in turn cools my house.
I like that.
Yeah, it's very nice. And I've got mine on a digital thermostat. Most people that come to my house don't think I have a swamp cooler.
So, yes, because it's acting like a very expensive animal up there.
Yeah.
And it's all right, so if you are going to get a new swamp cooler, or are you building a new house, this would be the time to take a look at this.
If you're building a house, give me a call. I'll make a very beautiful system for you.
Make it such a deal, and I get a commission.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, there's also, you can also, the exhaust. What you do is, if you take it from the attic and you exhaust it into a patio area, you could blast your patio with cool air.
Oh my goodness! I love that.
I've thought this stuff through a little too much.
I'm talking to Jacob Strack, and he is the owner of Swamptech. a small little ad. You can find it almost anywhere, but to save yourself that, and let me give you the numbers. And also, this program is archived, so if you were watching it at home, Mama, or the, whomever, and your spouse is not there, you can watch it when they get home, because as soon as we're off the air, this will be archived on UtahValleyLive.com. UtahValleyLive.com, which we're broadcasting over. So here's a phone number, two phone numbers actually. The one in Murray, which that's the home office, and it services North County, 801-47, 747-1150, 747-1150, and the one for the Utah County area is 801-471-0491, 471-0491. We're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be back in just a minute. And it's the Jake and Pat Show. We'll be right back.
By focusing solely on the evaporative cooling industry, Swamptech has quickly become the experts. We bring our clients the latest technologies and offer only the highest quality parts. Swamptech has been servicing coolers since 1997 and has over 3,000 current clients. Why would you trust anyone else with your cooling needs? Call 801-471-0491. Swamptech's services include seasonal startup and shutdown, installation of a new evaporative cooling system, repair or replacement of your existing swamp cooler, and flex duct run for whole house distribution. Call us at 801-471-0491 or go to swamptech.net, SWAMPTECH.net. Summer's heat has arrived. Don't spend another sleepless night because you're too hot. Call today for an appointment, 801-471-0491.
Hi, this is Pat Sheranian. My guest today is Jake Strack. And Strack.
You butcher it. You get worse and worse.
I do.
The more
as time goes on, it just gets worse.
It's awesome, though.
Let's go ahead and spell your name.
S-T-R-A-C-K.
S-T-R-A-C-K. Strack. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice name. What is that, by the way?
It's German.
Is it German?
Yep.
You're not stoic like most Germans. Were your parents? Were your dad?
Well, I mean, I'm an American, so I'm a mutt now. I'm not really German anymore. That was a long time ago.
He's a cute mutt, you've got to admit. Okay, we have a chat room on UtahValleyLive.com, and we've just had a question come in. If you would like to make a comment or ask a question, come at us at UtahValleyLive.com. It's right underneath where you're viewing our picture. And if you'll just scroll down a little bit, you'll see a place to drop in a question, and we'll try and answer it for you because it'll come up on our monitor. So let's take that question that came in.
Okay, so somebody was asking how long it would take to basically pay off your swamp cooler savings-wise. Like how long the energy savings, how long it would take to pay for itself. It's actually kind of a complicated question, and I've thought about it before because with a swamp cooler, you need service twice a year. So you actually have to get service. Whether you're servicing that yourself or whether you're having somebody service it changes the price. But I would say typically you'll see your investment pay off, I would say 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
If you go with a whole house distribution and the up ducts, which that system will usually run you about $4,000.
Okay.
With the replacement. And then you got your rebate, so I would say $3,000. If you're doing a brand new installation, it's more like $5,000 to $6,000. But
$1,000. We might add.
If you're doing an install where you have to cut the hole, you have to run the electrical, you have to flash the roof. There's a lot involved with installing on an existing home. But that would probably take more like 6 or 7 years.
Okay, but now the comparison to air conditioner.
Okay, so that's where the other problem runs in, is that air conditioners, there's all different types of air conditioners that have good energy ratings. And I've heard, but I don't know if I fully believe it, that there are air conditioners out there that'll run the same energy as an evaporative cooler. I don't know if I really believe it, but there's people that say there are. But what I've heard is that, and what I've seen is that people that switch from swamp cooler to AC, because when we get into that whole house distribution, we're talking about $3,000. People are like, I can get an AC for that price.
Right.
Why would I stick with a swamp cooler?
Because it doesn't cost anything to run it every month.
Well, and there's more benefits than that. But
tell me another benefit.
Okay, so let's go over the benefits of swamp versus AC.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so obviously energy is a big one. It takes about 20% of the energy to run a swamp cooler than most AC systems.
That's great.
Then you've got big things like, what do you do when you're sick?
What do you do when you're sick?
Like when you got a bad cough and a sore throat, what do you do? What do you put in your room?
A vaporizer.
Yeah, humidifier, right?
Yeah.
So a swamp cooler is a giant humidifier on your house. So you're promoting healthy breathing.
Oh, I like that.
And softer skin. The ladies love that one.
Oh, that's great.
Well, because you're adding moisture to the air. Have you ever noticed?
Adding moisture.
Have you ever noticed in the winter, if you have a swamp cooler, if you notice in the winter, your skin gets really dry and cracks, and like mine actually bleeds.
Oh,
I get really bad.
This young puppy is saying such a thing to me.
Well, it might no, my knuckles literally bleed in the winter.
But this because of the moisture
that it's adding, it softens your skin.
And well, it's got to be good for everything: your hair, your skin,
your woodwork, everything.
Well, furniture.
Yeah. And then there's another one. There's another benefit, which is the last one that anybody ever thinks of, is that the EPA has actually estimated that indoor air quality is up to 70% worse inside than it is outside. An air conditioner will take you 2 days to recirculate out fresh air. Sometimes even longer, no matter how you
sealed.
Exactly.
Okay.
A swamp cooler, 4 times an hour.
It clears the air 4 times.
4 times an hour.
That
shows you how much you need to open.
I would say, let's do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, and then you're also using a natural form of cooling versus refrigerants, which are toxic to the environment. So if you're green and you care about your environment,
you're going to want a swamp.
Yeah, it's the natural way to cool a house.
My goodness, I did not know that. Okay, so you're in the office. He owns the company. He's the office manager. He's running the show. You're answering these questions all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Will you answer some more from these folks that are going to call you?
Yeah, definitely give me a call if you have any questions. If I can get to the phone, I'm willing. I think Pat actually just got lucky getting me that many times.
No, I was very insistent. Okay, take me to the person that knows what he's doing. Okay, we're going to give out to find them online is
www.swamptech.com.
Say it again.
www.swamptech.com.
Okay, got that. 2 phone numbers in Utah County, 801-471-0491. 471-0491. In the Salt Lake area and beyond, north, 801-747-1150. This has been more fun. I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We didn't even get to all of it either.
No. We could have gone for 2 hours, and we're running out of time here.
I did tell you.
You did. I said, you think you can handle an hour? And he said, how about a day? No, a couple of hours. But this has been fun for us, and I hope that people will get hold of you, because there is such a savings. And to work with people that know what they're doing is an absolute pleasure. So thank you for being on air with me today. We appreciate it. And stay tuned. We have other things coming on today at 5 o'clock. We want to make sure you're there on UtahValleyLive.com and 1480. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for being with us.